What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? Hey, listen, I see listen, as you come in, what's going on, Tamika, on TikTok? I see you over there. Hey, my folks on StreamYard, y'all let me know if you can actually hear me okay. I see Sheila on there. Good evening from on Facebook, Carla from Valencia, California on Facebook. All right, y'all listen now. Make sure when you come in, y'all let me know where you're hailing from. What's your city? What's your state? What's going on? Cheryl, I see you from Michigan. Okay, good deal on Facebook. Betty, I see you on Facebook. Hello. What's up, Cheryl? I see you, friend. P Cakes, I appreciate you. I see somebody from Jacksonville, Florida. I see the sip in the house. Karen from Dallas, Texas. I got you. Oh, I know what I need to do. Let me block my phone off because I'm telling you, all of a sudden I start getting calls from everybody. They always do it while I'm actually trying to go live too, which is kind of crazy. All right, Virginia, I see you on Facebook. Betty from Ohio. Need to get my water game up today. I've been slacking the last couple of days. Atlanta in the house. Vanessa, I see you. What's going on from Mississippi to Houston? All right, now TikTok, I see you. Listen, on TikTok, y'all make sure y'all keep tapping the screen. Y'all keep sharing it out for me. What's up, Cassandra? Appreciate y'all being in as always. Y'all don't know the kind of supportive staff that I have behind the scenes as always, making sure that everything moves like it's supposed to move. And I appreciate these ladies so much. You know, we got Patty Cakes, Cassandra, Tammy, Stella Bailey, and then we got the executive director, Saveda, on the other side. Saveda, don't be throwing your fingers up at me and clowning either. So, yep, but she's managing the Facebook side, and P Cakes and Cassandra is managing the TikTok side. And again, I appreciate, I really appreciate these ladies and Stella. I couldn't do none of this without them. Oh, listen, on TikTok, yeah, y'all keep tapping, keep sharing this thing out. Those I see you on Facebook and YouTube. I see you, Gloria. What's going on in North Carolina? Sean Simone from New Jersey. Gabriella from South Kakalaki. All right, Pastor, thank you for jumping on. That's right, it is June 1st. You all know, if you saw my post today, we have started with Men's Mental Health Month. And so again, I'm so thankful that we're finally at the point in our society where men's mental health is actually being addressed. As you all know, we have a lot of men that are leaving here prematurely because of the stress, because of them not feeling appreciated and those things. And so it's beautiful to see that we've actually now designated time and space for men to be acknowledged, to be taken care of, for somebody to finally say, how are you doing? And actually mean it for a change, right? So that's important. Again, those of you on TikTok coming in, please tap the screen, please share it out with us. Right, Icy, you already know it. No, my birthday, Cheryl, my birthday is not tomorrow. My birthday is not till December the 12th. So listen, any of you all dealing with these scam artists, remember this. The scammers are scamming. And y'all keep asking me if I don't have but one page, and I say that all the time. And so you all need to remember that. I only have one page. I do not have any additional pages. I'm not going to create any additional pages. It's hard enough trying to manage one with over 81,000 followers. And I now have just as many followers on TikTok as I do on Facebook. Actually, I have more over there. So again, I'm only going to manage one page on each one. So anybody reaching out to you on TikTok, if it does not say @the_Louis_V, that is not me. Okay. Yep. What's going on, Doc Perry? Good evening and congratulations on your end, Doc Perry. Judy Bell, I see you on Facebook. Penny, what do you mean, Sagittarius? What exactly is that supposed to mean? Listen, those of you on TikTok, keep tapping the screen, keep sharing this thing out. Appreciate you all. Those of you on Facebook and YouTube, telephone and tell a friend, let them know that we live and we getting ready to go in grown style. So anyway, this evening, I want y'all to buckle up your seat and hope you got your stuff with you tonight, because We're going to talk and we're going to do like we always do, right? So again, let's talk about today. It is now 7:06 p.m. Central Standard Time. What's up, Carla? I appreciate you all. 7:06 p.m. And so we're going to get ready to go on in. Let me give you this topic for tonight. So today I actually want to talk about these two words that for some reason they continue to seem to be so polarizing, so electric every time you hear these two words. And I don't understand why, but I think a lot of it has to do with how those words have all of a sudden taken on this negative connotation. We're going to get into it and we're going to talk about it. I want to talk about two words: submission and leadership. Again, this evening, we're going to talk about submission and we're going to talk about leadership. We're going to get going. Okay. All serious, but naturally loves deep on it. You're absolutely right. So listen, here's what I want to know, right? Here's what I want to know. Tonight, we're going to step into some dangerous waters. We're going to talk about submission and leadership. These two words, again, trigger people before we even get a chance to define them every time. And I just don't understand why. I get it. Some men want submission, but they don't want to provide direction. Some women want leadership, but they refuse accountability. Some people hear the word submission and they think slavery. Others hear the word leadership and automatically assume it's about control. So tonight, we're going to have a real grown folks conversation about the two. And I think what you're going to find out is that you're leaning one way or the other, right? And you may have some things that's probably making you think negatively in some areas that you probably shouldn't be. So let's get into it. I need to do a little bit of homework on the front end so I can make sure I understand exactly where your minds are, right? So let me ask you this. When you hear the word submission, what is the first thing that tends to come through your mind? I'm going to ask you again. When you hear the word submission, what is the first thing that tends to come to your mind as you know it today? I see bad. Okay, I see protection. Somebody said God. Let me get my glasses on. Need my good glasses on for this one. All right, a man leading. Okay. Facebook, YouTube, what y'all saying? I don't see you saying anything. Tell me, what do you think when you hear the words submission? What's the first thing come to mind? Tina, I see you say freedom on TikTok, right? Or why? I got you. Somebody said control. Rakila said under a mission. Somebody said do as I say, not as I do. Okay. Facebook, somebody, Joyce said leadership. I see marriage, control, relations, yield to leadership, love, respect. Okay. Connection, do as I say, Queen T said on TikTok. Voluntary lineup, ZT Hill on YouTube, right? Sean Simone saying giving in. It's odd that I see that these different definitions, and it's amazing how our definitions have been jaded so negatively when it comes to these particular words. Some of you all on the positive side, but let's keep going. So then if you're thinking about submission in that way, what does healthy leadership look like in a relationship? Give me an example of what you believe healthy leadership looks like. Ula, you said it's hard to explain, right? What does healthy leadership look like in a relationship? I see compromise. Somebody said men being the head of the household. Okay. Karen said head of the household on TikTok. Pixie on Facebook said led by God. Shannon Williams said God and leadership on Facebook. I see safety, responsibilities, and collaboration. Right? Okay. I got you. I see Jesus in marriage and guide. All right. Being of service. I love it, Tina. I love that. Y'all keep tapping on TikTok and y'all keep sharing this thing out. Okay, gotcha. So if you're telling me that those are the things what healthy leadership look like in a relationship, and that's exactly what you would want to see, right, in a relationship, healthy leadership. Let me ask you this. Can someone have leadership? Can it exist in a relationship without authority? We're going to start getting deep here in just a second. Can you have leadership in a relationship and not have authority? Communication, godly directions, purposeful goals. I love it. Some people say yes. Nina said no. You cannot have leadership on TikTok without authority. I see no. Okay. I see people are kind of split. Being led by God. Yes. I'm seeing yes on Facebook. Felicia said no on Facebook. Sheilda said no on Facebook. So it looked like we kind of split as we do this thing. TikTok, keep tapping, keep sharing this thing out. Facebook and YouTube do the same. So have you ever felt safe enough to follow somebody's lead in a relationship? And what actually made you trust them? What made you trust a person in leadership to automatically submit to them? If you've ever done that, what made you trust that person's leadership? What made you trust that person's leadership? If you've ever submitted in a relationship, what made you trust them to be able to follow their lead? Queen T says she ain't never done it. Never done it. Rilla said communication. Somebody said God. Kay Sassy said their confidence on TikTok. Tina said she hasn't and she's still praying. Tammy on Facebook said honesty and communication. Somebody said no. Silver said no. A clear plan, Latoya said on Facebook. Okay. Never have but wanted to, Stephanie said. How he handles situations. Okay, some people say they've done it. The main thing is you talk to one another, not at each other, Cassie said on Facebook, right? Roz said she hasn't before, but learning now. See, there's a lot of you that hadn't had the opportunity to follow somebody's leadership, right? For those of you that have, though, have you ever had to follow somebody's leadership that you didn't feel was leading well? Right? Have you ever had to follow somebody's leadership that you believe wasn't leading well in the first place? Yolanda said one time his actions matched his words. Okay, gotcha. On Facebook, yes, Jesus being the center, Elizabeth said, right? Somebody said at work, following people at work. Okay, somebody said their ex-husband. No. Shell said she tried, but it was controlling on TikTok. Felicia said yes. Right? AJ Johnson said, turning to our creator, praying for discernment always. Absolutely. Somebody said they can't say I have. I did, and it was detrimental. Started off strong, Millie said, and then it dropped off. I got you. So then when you think about submission and you think about leadership, is submission earned or is it given? Think about this for a moment. TikTok, keep sharing, keep tapping, keep sharing. Is submission earned or is it given? Michelle said both. I see both on TikTok. Sammy says earned on TikTok. Earned and given. Cheryl says given for her. Felicia on Facebook says earned. Ula said it's earned. Denise on Facebook said it's earned. I'm seeing both. I'm seeing earned, given, both. So as I always say, that we are all the result of our past experiences, right? And that's our past experiences, whether it's been in relationships or whether it's been in family as you're growing up. So what are some examples as you think about leadership that you witnessed actually growing up as a child, not in your relationships? Give me some good examples of healthy leadership that you witnessed when you were growing up as a child, right? Keep tapping, keep sharing this thing out on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Y'all let them know we in there. We live in this thing. What are some healthy examples that you all seen as a child growing up? Wanisha on TikTok said family worship. Man, that is almost a foregone afterthought now. I'm with you. Millie said her father was providing. Karen said she saw her father. Educator said accountability. Felicia said communication, right? I'm seeing compassion from Joyce on Facebook. B. Porter said my father was provider. Gotcha. Consistency both ways. You're right. No arguments, discussion. Somebody said their parents again. Carla said her father was being the man that he said he would be. What's up, Tevin? How you doing? Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Tevin. Examples of healthy leadership you witnessed growing up. Parents, sacrifice. Chivalry wasn't dead. That's right. God's girl sees her dad. He works 9 to 5 and then had a business on the side. That's what I'm talking about. So when you think about that, a lot of us have had the opportunity to actually see healthy examples of great leadership as we were growing up. Now, give me some examples of unhealthy submission that you might have witnessed growing up. Now, we talked about healthy leadership, but let's talk about unhealthy submission. Give me some examples of unhealthy submission you might have saw working up. Les said her folks worked as a team. B. Porter said women didn't leave so fast. Everybody had these great grandparents. Family sitting down for dinner and outing. I love it. I love it. The bar. Somebody said dishonesty, right? Julie said her dad controlled the money, right? Single mom, present dad, both working hard. I love it. Somebody said they never saw unhealthy submission. Somebody said disrespectful with words and arguing. Having kids by a married man. My God, today. Staying home for 40 years with no commitment and outside kids. An unsafe environment. I see that on TikTok. Sheldea said her mama controlled the money. Being an enduring woman doesn't make you a good woman. This is true. Absolutely. Some people say they never saw it, right? Some people say they've never seen that. So here's what I want to do now. Let's start by defining leadership first. Let's define leadership. And of course, we're going to do submission because I got some other areas I really want to drive us to. So a leader isn't a person who actually gives orders. Remember, a leader is a person that's willing to carry responsibility. I'm going to say that again because people have this jaded perception of what a leader is. A leader is not a person who gives orders. A leader is the person that's willing to carry some responsibility. A lot of people want the title of leader, but they really don't want the burden of being a leader. Because when you're a leader, it means you got to make difficult decisions. You got to protect people's peace. You got to create stability, take accountability. You got to be trustworthy and you got to be consistent. See, a leader doesn't say, do what I say. A leader says, follow me because I've shown you I can actually be trusted. Did y'all hear what I said about that? I said a leader never says, do what I say. What a leader says is follow me because I've shown you that I can actually be trusted. So now here's my question to you. Now that I've talked about leadership and what that's like, tell me, what do you all believe is the difference between a boss and a leader? Talk to me. What is the difference between a boss and a leader? Y'all have any ideas? What is the difference between a boss and a leader? Hey, get this Ryan Collins dude up out of here, Patty. What's the difference? Okay, Lori says the leader sets good examples, makes good decisions that are beneficial, not damaging or self-involved. Good answer, Lori. You're absolutely right. Leader equals a servant. That's right. We like to use the term servant leader. A leader can lead a boss. Okay. Leaders lead from the front with accountability and a boss barks from the back. Got that on TikTok. I love it. A leader leads with love, compassion, and wisdom. Boss gives instructions. A leader leads by example. Nina is absolutely wonderful. True, a good leader shows his actions. That's honest and kind and holds their words. That's right. Absolutely. Okay, good. So y'all got it. Y'all got it. Okay. So now here's my other question. Now that we're getting into leaders, right? So let me ask you this. For ladies, this question is to the ladies. Can a man be financially successful and still be a poor leader? Can a man be financially successful and still be a poor leader? Don't worry about it, fellas. I'm coming to you. We're going to get there. Just hold what you got. I see absolutely. TikTok, y'all keep tapping the screen, keep sharing this thing out. Right? Of course. Of course. Well, Ida, you say of course, but I will tell you how many people believe that because you're financially successful, that you are an absolutely great leader. And one has absolutely nothing to do with the other, right? What qualities in your mind make someone worth following in the first place? What qualities make someone following in the first place? Right? Y'all keep tapping the screen on TikTok. Keep sharing that thing out for me. What qualities make someone worth following in the first place? Somebody said security. Okay. right? Okay. I see integrity, mental stability, Letitia said on Facebook, humility on TikTok. I see you. They model by example. Okay. Trusty, honesty, qualities. Gamers trust by performance. Trustworthy, loyal, and intelligent on Facebook. Thank you for that, Felicia. Tones. Gwendolyn said tones. Susan said positivity on TikTok. Consistency, honesty, and integrity. A caring heart. I love it. I love it. Empathy, trustworthy, having empathy, consistency. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Their views on life and confidence. Good. So that's good that you all have a good grasp on what are qualities that makes a person want to follow them in the first place. Icy said follow through. Now let's talk about submission. And I know a lot of y'all probably waiting on this particular definition and how I'm going to work through submission. So here's what the best way. This is how I describe it when I'm working on coaching. It is easier to describe what submission is not. All right. It is easier to describe what submission is not. So submission is not silence. It's not obedience. It's not weakness. It's not being controlled. It is not losing your voice. And it is definitely not, damn sure not accepting disrespect. That's what submission is not. Healthy submission actually says, I trust your judgment as a leader. But unhealthy submission says, I don't have a choice. And those are two completely different conversations. Remember what I told you submission is not. So now here's my question. Have people now misunderstood what submission is? Do you believe people have misunderstood the true definition of submission? Cloud says submission to her is the same as compromise. Okay. Yes, right. Okay. Absolutely, right. TikTok, y'all keep tapping, keep sharing this thing out. Submission is supporting the other person while trusting the decisions made. Lori said on Facebook, right? I believe too that they have misunderstood them because if you remember, most of us that are on social media, and to be honest with you, some pastors in church, right, when they talk about submission, it sounds pretty negative. I'm gonna be honest with you, it sounds pretty negative. So listen, so then why is it that that word tends to trigger so many people? What is it about the word submission that triggers people so much? Pam said control. They definitely have. Faith is blind and small as a seed. Dina, you're right. So again, tell me, why does that word trigger people so much? Lovely Leah said it sounds like control. It's been used in a negative way. Miss Chocolate said, that's what I said, absolutely. The way it's being used. So then it is up to us. So think about that. You hear the word submission. You out here trying to date. Somebody's using that word. If you automatically put it in a negative connotation, you will never get past that word. You don't hear anything else they say, right? Because you have automatically given it a negative connotation. Now, everybody has a different definition, and that's actually the problem. There's only one definition. But what we do is we take it, no different than anything else, we take it and adapt it to us and where we are. We can't keep making up these definitions on a regular with every word. That's why it's misunderstood. That's why. So let me ask you this. We often hear about strong women. Can a strong woman actually submit? And can a submissive woman actually be independent? I'm going to say again, can a strong woman actually submit? And can a submissive woman still be independent? Yes. Somebody said absolutely. Yes. Okay. Yes. Felicia said, a guy asked me if I was submissive and you looked at him like he was crazy. That's right. Because if we said earlier, submission is earned, right? I asked the question again, can a strong woman submit? And can a submissive woman actually be independent? So it's right. That's right. Patty Cake says submission is our strength. Keep tapping the screen, keep sharing it on TikTok, right? is respect one another. Cassie, you're absolutely right on Facebook. So listen, what this really boils down to is, and you just that was a great segue, Cassie, is trust. The trust factor. See, most women don't struggle. I don't believe most women actually struggle with submission. I think most women struggle with trusting the person they're asking to submit to, right? Would y'all agree with that? I don't think most women struggle with submission. I think the struggle is trusting the person that they're asked to submit to. Because I want to be honest with you, if you following a GPS and the GPS then got you lost 5 times, you're not going to let it lead anymore. You're not going to tap another damn destination in that GPS, right? Because trust is actually built, right? Trust is actually built through consistency, accountability, protection, honesty, and emotional safety. That's how you build trust. So now that we talked about that piece, what behaviors make you trust somebody even more? And what behaviors tend to destroy trust? Actually, answer the second one first. What behaviors tend to destroy trust? What behaviors tend to destroy trust in relationships? I know I'm doing my best, lovely lady. I'm doing my best. Millie says lying. I see lying. Michelle said inconsistency. What else am I seeing? Dishonesty on TikTok, right? Francine on Facebook said lies. This lying and inconsistency, man, seem to be going. I see jealousy. Felicia said accountability. Tamika said cheating and disrespect. Lying and cheating. Disrespect. Self-serving. Tashika said on Facebook. Lying and cheating. Ambrose said on Facebook. No integrity, infidelity, lying and dishonest, lack of communication, betrayal, no loyalty. That's what I'm talking. Dr. Anna said lack of reciprocity. Like that one, Dr. A. Selfishness, selfish reasons. Kay Sassy said no integrity. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody said he doesn't step up to the plate. Laura on Facebook. So let me ask you this. If you're in that relationship and this person is building trust, in order for you to submit, if I'm talking to women, in order for you to submit, this person is building trust. Or if men, you're trying to work with a woman through accountability before you start to lead. If betrayal ever happens, can trust ever fully return in a relationship? Once betrayal happens, can trust ever fully return in the relationship? Cassie, you said a lot of these men are insecure. Cassie, if you know anything about me, you can only talk about the men that you've dealt with. So you can talk about the men that you've dealt with, but we don't do generalizations, because what happens is you automatically will put somebody in that category as being insecure before you even got a chance to talk to them. Somebody said only with, it depends on the person if trust can return. I got you. Some people said with therapy, with counseling is necessary. It can, Tashika said, but it's very difficult. Absolutely. So then if we talk about that it takes trust in order for a woman to submit, then is leadership possible without trust? Can leadership happen without trust? No. Cheating is a no. There'll always be cracks. No. Because if you remember, I said, I believe, I don't think most women have an issue with submission. I think they have an issue with trusting the person they're trying to submit to. So in essence, what we've determined is that leadership is impossible in a relationship without trust. And thus, it is difficult for a woman to submit when she does not trust the individual she's supposed to be submitting to. So then my question is that if you're in a relationship and you don't trust the man to lead, why in the hell are you in the relationship in the first place? I'm going to ask again. If you're in a relationship and it takes trust in order for you to submit, and you don't trust him to lead, why in the hell are you in a relationship in the first place? Stacy said comfortable, right? That part I already know. Somebody said get out the relationship. Absolutely. Is that not a real question? That's a real question, right? Okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Now, I'm finna move on into this part, men's accountability. What is men's accountability when it comes to this thing, right? With leadership and submission. And so I know that there are men on here, not as many men as women, but brothers, I need us to talk real quick. And brothers, you cannot demand submission if you are emotionally unavailable, if you're lacking vision, if you're avoiding responsibility, if you're being inconsistent, and if you're acting like another child she has to raise. Leadership is not what you say. Leadership is actually what you demonstrate as a man. I hope you brothers heard me. Leadership is not what you say. Leadership is what you demonstrate as a man. So I need to ask the men, right? What responsibilities do you believe come with relationships? I'm sorry, with leadership. And have you ever expected submission that you haven't earned? I'm going to say again, for my fellas that are here, thank you, Cosmic Squirrel. What responsibilities do you believe come with leadership? And have you ever expected something? Have you expected submission when you didn't earn it? Again, I don't have a lot of fellas on here, but I do have some that are answering the question, and I appreciate y'all. I see your brother, yep, yes, right? Nick say you demand respect, and the rest will follow, right? You can say the yes a lot. Yep, well, y'all heard what I said. So what are areas, then men, to my fellas, what are areas that men tend to commonly struggle with when it comes to leadership? What are areas of leadership that men tend to commonly struggle with? I really need my men to answer, but y'all know if y'all don't, these ladies will answer for you. I'm going to say again, my fellas, what are areas of leadership that men tend to commonly struggle with? And it's a number of them, right? Do as I say, not as I do, because I'm the man, right? That's right. Communication, financial and communication. I'm seeing that. Yeah, I'm trying to get the men, Retanya, to speak up, and David said yes. I see that. I see some transparency. I see openness. I see disrespect. How can men in this day and age? I saw you, bro. Appreciate that patience. He said patience. Appreciate you being honest, bro. Men struggle with patience. I agree with him. It's tight out here. So let me ask you this: how can men become better leaders? What is it that we need to do as men to become better leaders, right? What do we need to do? Well, I'll give a couple and then me and you chime on in. One, we need to admit when we don't know something. It's hard for men to admit we don't know something, right? We need to take the time to heal and be okay with healing out loud. We need to go and get counseling. We need to get coaching, right? We need to address our childhood wounds, right? We need to do all these things. We need to be okay with apologizing. We need to be okay with saying no to people when they come at us, right? That's right, Johnny. Johnny said we need to learn to be by ourselves. It's okay to sit in your own quietness and be by yourself. That's right. Somebody said deal with your bloodline issues, expectations. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. Somebody said God has to be the center of the relationship. All right. So now let me switch over, fellas. I'm going to switch over to women. Women's accountability. Let's get into it. Now, ladies, y'all know it's your turn. And y'all know I'm an equal opportunity coach. Sometimes a good man can't lead because every decision he tries to make becomes a debate. Some people ask for leadership, but they fight every direction that man tries to go in. So you can't ask somebody to steer the car and you keep grabbing the damn steering wheel every 5 minutes from the passenger seat. That's not how this works, right? So here's the questions for you women. Have you ever struggled as a woman relinquishing control? I'm going to ask you again, ladies. Have you ever struggled with relinquishing control in a relationship? Darla said us women have to learn how to follow on Facebook. Patty Cake said yes, yes, and yes. Yes, I said Happy Go Lucky said no, she hasn't. Somebody said they done that in their past. Yes, Priscilla on YouTube, thank you for that. So she said yes, I have. Pixie on Facebook said yes. Yep. Hey, get Brent out of here too, Patty. He offering 7,000. Somebody said, no, they need a man to take charge. Silence is how they act. Yes, absolutely. So then my question to you all, Tamika said no. Lovely Les said yes. Okay. All right. So ladies, have your past relationships affected your ability to trust today? Have your past relationships affected your ability to trust today? Tamika, I'm sorry. She said that, yep, I got you. Okay, I see you. Somebody said they get tired of being in control. It's a carry over from previous relationships. Yep. Have your pets. Everybody said most definitely. Most definitely. Most definitely. I love it. Love it. Ladies, thank y'all for being transparent and being honest. Somebody said, no, I made bad choices. Y'all know what that's called, right? When you start letting things affect you from past relationships, that's called relationship residue. Term I came up with, relationship residue. And don't worry, I'm explaining relationship residue in a video. Y'all hold on. So what's the difference between asking questions of the person that's supposed to be leading you and resisting leadership? What does that look like? What's the difference between the two? What's the difference between asking questions and resisting leadership? TikTok, y'all keep tapping, keep sharing this thing out. I see your Facebook, YouTube. Y'all keep letting them know we blowing up over there. What's the difference between the two? Right? Asking questions and resisting leadership. What's the difference? Anybody know? Okay, Candace said the approach. Patty said control and clarity. There you go, Patty. Michelle said how you ask the question. Penny on Facebook said it's tone. Scooby said how you approach. Shell said how you ask. Okay, I got you. I got you. Clarity. Resisting is disrespectful, right? Tone. Asking questions should be to get an understanding. And you're right. Absolutely right, Pixie Lee. No, each man is different, just like I'm not his. That's right. You're absolutely right. And that's what I'm saying. People tend to carry this relationship residue when they're meeting somebody else. Pastor Quinn said resistance is rebellion. That's right. Success said listen more than you speak. Agree. So here's what I want to do. I want to give you guys, now that we've gone through this piece, we've talked about what submission looked like. We've talked about what real leadership looked like. I've addressed the men. I've addressed the women. Now I want to give you a different perspective when it comes to leadership. Let me ask y'all this. Do you believe that leadership can be shared in a relationship? I'm going to ask you again. Do you believe that leadership can be shared in a relationship? I see no. I'm seeing some yeses, right? Most definitely, I'm seeing yeses on TikTok. I'm seeing yes. I see no on Facebook. I see yes. Okay. All right. I'm seeing yes. Absolutely yes. Yes. Well, Brunchy said depends. Okay. I get it. No. Queensy said no. Tamika said yes. Temporary control. Okay. Why temporary? But we're gonna go through this thing. So I want to give y'all this perspective. They said tasks can be shared. Priscilla said tasks can be shared. So here's what I want to give you. Let me give you this perspective. And I want y'all to listen to it. And let's roll with it. Does every relationship really need one leader? Or do healthy relationships require a situational type of leadership? Let me give you an example. He may be great financially. She may be excellent socially. He may lead strategically. She may lead emotionally, right? Maybe leadership isn't ownership. Maybe, just maybe, we should be looking at leadership as a partnership. There we go. Somebody say we lead together. So can two leaders coexist? It's my question. Can two leaders coexist? Think about it for a moment. Both may be needed. Yes. Yes. Right. Yes. Okay. I see yes. Because I see no. Yep. It's a partnership. I see no. Yes. Together. They say teamwork make the dream work, right? Here's my thing. For those of you that are saying no, for those of you that are saying that two leaders can't exist, let me ask you this question. You're at work. You have a manager. Their manager has a director. That director has a senior director. The senior director has a vice president. The vice president has a president. The president has a COO or a CEO. The CEO has a founder. Aren't all of those leaders? Aren't all of them coexisting in the same environment? Right? So again, yes, every boss has a boss. Absolutely. So again, for those of you to say no, that's simply not true. Your pastor has a co-pastor, has an assistant pastor. The motherboard, they got the main mama over there, and then she got assistant mothers on the motherboard. I mean, come on now. The usher board got the usher leader. For those of you in church, come on now. Y'all already know what time it is, right? So leadership, and all I'm saying is that leadership is going to be different depending on the situation, right? So it's like when we talk about being equally yoked, and people automatically assume that when you say equally yoked, everybody's supposed to make the same money. Everybody's supposed to be in the same like mind frame and this, that, and that's not it. I just gave you an example. Let's say you're a man and you make money, but you're not financially strong. But you get with a woman who is excellent with finances. She's leading in managing the finances. It does not take away from you as a leader in the relationship. So that's what I'm saying. So now that I've said that, does leadership have to be masculine? And I already know where we're going because I just gave you the answer. Leadership does not have to be masculine, right? They coexist, but there can be, Laura, there's always going to be conflicts, right? You have two imperfect people trying to make as perfect of a union as possible. You're going to have conflicts. That's the way it is. We all are raised differently, right? So that's going to happen. The key, though, is the communication and the actual teamwork. So in essence, what we're saying, right, is that teamwork plays a huge role when it comes to leading in a relationship. So now we've gone from one person being a leader and saying that it's possible in a relationship to have dual leadership, right? Everybody leans to their strength in the relationship. And so just because you're the man don't mean that you lead on everything, because you may have a strong sister, a strong woman that does an excellent job in these areas or always has a different purview than you. And ladies, you have to be willing to take accountability in order to allow your man to lead if he's earned your trust to lead. We're not fighting. We're working together. There's no I in team. Absolutely right. Teamwork make the dream work. Let's talk about, though, what happens in these situations when leadership fails, because it's going to happen. Leadership is going to fail at some point, right? Let's talk about how we manage that. So let's talk real. Every leader is going to fail at some point. Every single one. You're going to make bad decisions. You're going to misjudge a situation. You're going to get some things wrong. The question isn't whether the leader is going to fail. The question really is what happens after they fail, right? What happens after they fail? Does that leader accept accountability? Do they learn from it? Do they make adjustments? Do they try to repair the damage? Or do they blame everybody else? Do they get defensive? Do they continue to double down on bad decisions when they know it's one bad decision after another? Or do they refuse to listen? A good leader doesn't actually need to be perfect. All a good leader needs to be is teachable. That's it. A good leader needs to be teachable and the ability to take accountability, Darla. Thank you for that. So here's some questions I want to ask you when it comes to leadership failing. Have you ever lost respect for somebody's leadership? And if so, tell me what happened. Have you ever lost respect for somebody's leadership? And if so, tell me what happened. What happened? I'm going to tell you how to fix it, Bendy. Hold on. What happened? Tell me what happened when you lost respect for somebody's leadership. What happened? Anybody? Teachable is the key, Kimberly. You're absolutely right on Facebook. You're absolutely right. I said it. A good leader has to be teachable. Somebody said, yes, they were an alcoholic. Somebody said they had tunnel vision, right? Didn't have trust. Andrea said we lost our house. Regina on YouTube said he hid all the bills claiming he paid them. Miss Kim said micromanaging on TikTok. Okay, the user say she did not consider their ideas. He was a whole narcissist. Yes, because they lied and you withdrew. Pastor said they micromanaged. There you go. Pushed you to divorce court. Okay. Failed you to be accountable. I got you. Okay. Not accepting accountability, the pride. I'm telling you, like we say, I said, a good leader has to be teachable. If they're not teachable, then they are not a good leader, because that means that they will not learn from their mistakes. They will not learn from their mistakes. Push me to lead a relationship. Gaslighting, Isis said, put the other things before family. You know, it's funny. I just saw somebody say that they gonna follow their man they gonna submit and follow him regardless. Let me ask you this question. If your husband or your man or whoever he is if he is driving 70 miles an hour toward a brick wall, you ain't gonna do nothing? What's up from Guam? What's up now? So you mean to tell me you say you will follow this man implicitly and he get ready to drive 70 miles an hour into a brick wall? You ain't gonna do nothing? You gonna follow him? Ain't no way in hell. All right, let me keep moving. All right, so listen. So then when you think about a leader, is accountability the most important leadership trait? Do you feel like the most important leadership trait is accountability? If not, what is it? What do you feel like is the most important leadership trait? I see integrity, right? I see accountability. They say yes, yes. Somebody say yes, it is, right? Communication, okay. I see communication. I see somebody said following God first. Maturity, communication, absolutely. Accountability, Moors. All right. TikTok, y'all keep tapping the screen, keep sharing this thing out. All right. I see, okay, willing to listen. I love it. I love it. So when you think of, I see inclusiveness and openness. All right. I love it. Emotional intelligence. Now, remember, I just talked about emotional intelligence or emotional maturity. Which one is more important to you? Intelligence, they understand their emotions. They know exactly what they are. Are they mature enough to deal with them? They know what they are, but are they mature enough to deal with them? I see both. Okay. Accountability in your world. I got you. All right. So what's harder then? What's harder? Is it leading or is it admitting that you're wrong as a leader? What's harder? What's the toughest part about that? Is it leading or admitting that you're wrong when something happens? Is it leading or admitting that you're wrong? Which one is worse? Which one is worse, you think, for a leader? Somebody said, yep, admitting that you're wrong, being wrong, admitting that you're wrong. Haitian Queen on YouTube said leading is the toughest part. Darla said leading on Facebook is the toughest part. All right, admitting you're wrong. I see both. I got you. So how much grace? I'm telling you, I have a conversation about grace almost every day. Love it. How much grace should a leader receive when they make a mistake? How much grace should a person receive when they make a mistake? I see leading it on, admitting you're wrong is still the issue. I got you. How much grace? Lovely Leah said lots of grace. Michelle said as much as they need when they make a mistake. Lots of grace. Okay, Sassy said lots. It depends. What does it depend on when it comes to somebody making a mistake? What does it depend on? Tell me. As much as Shell said, as much as it takes for us to get back on track. Darla on Facebook said the most you can give, the max. Bully Mom said God's grace. Absolutely. A lot because they're not perfect. As long as they can admit it, Tamika said. I got you. I got you. You said, do you keep making the same mistake? Well, that's a whole nother discussion. If a person keeps making the same mistake, that means that either nobody's taking the time to try to correct them or they're not listening. to other advice. And then you have to make a decision if that's somebody you still want to follow. Gloria said, as much grace as you expect to receive. Absolutely, Gloria. 100%, because we're all human. Absolutely. Enough to where they're able to make corrections. Smiley DMC said, I love it. So what leadership failures will kill a relationship? This ought to be good. Tell me. So we talked about leadership failures, right? Okay, Dr. Anna said, first mistake, we can work on it after that. It's a habit and then it's a problem. What leadership failures will automatically kill a relationship in your opinion? In essence, this now goes to your standards, right? Your standards. What leadership failures are relationship killers? I see lying. I see pride, financial, no accountability, betrayal. Okay. I see communication and lying on Facebook, lies, Facebook. R. Yvonne Hampson said health. What about their health will kill your relationship? Dishonesty and inability to pivot, the Haitian Queen on YouTube. I see disrespectful. I'm still seeing pride, lying, ignorance. Okay. Not being accountable. Dishonorable, not trustworthy, pride and ego. Benicia on Facebook, I see you. Abusiveness. There you go, tailor made for you. Not intelligent, Cheryl said. That kills a relationship if they're not intelligent, Cheryl. Gaslighting. Emotional immaturity. Tamika said deflects instead of listening, blames others. Sheila Tooks Clinton said dishonesty, making the same mistake over and over. Bad temperament, right? The same thing repeatedly, AJ Johnson said. Not being inclusive. I love it. Failing to say sorry, Julian said. Manipulation. I love it. Okay. All right. So have you ever then followed somebody who wasn't perfect, but was accountable? Because y'all said you need to be accountable. They weren't perfect, though. Have you ever followed somebody in that way? Have you followed somebody that was not perfect, but they were at least accountable to their actions? Yes, nobody's perfect. Absolutely. You're right. You're right. But they could be perfect in your mind. Nope. Tamika said she ain't done it. Not yet. Somebody said they have for a short time. Sharina on Facebook said yes. Ain't nobody perfect. You're right. No? Okay, gotcha. So when we talk about leaders and we talk about the importance of leaders, and for those of you that are leaders in your own mind, I hope you're paying attention. Can someone lead if they never apologize? And I want you to sit with that. Can someone lead if they never apologize? Because here's the thing. If you're a leader and you never, ever apologize for your actions, for whatever you do, leadership without accountability is nothing more than ego. That's exactly what it is. I'm going to say again. If you cannot apologize as a so-called leader, leadership without being accountable is nothing more than ego. And in a relationship, there is no room for ego. So let's talk about what it looks like today. We've gone through leadership, submission. We've talked to the men. We've talked to the women. We've talked about how to build trust, because trust is the foundation for why a woman would submit, right? Trust is the foundation that's needed for a man to lead effectively. Let's talk about it. And today I want to talk about the elephant in the room. Many relationships today not struggling really because of leadership. They're struggling because there's a power struggle within the relationship. We talked about you can have two leaders, but as long as there's collaboration and communication. Everybody wants a voice in a relationship, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with having your voice in your relationship. And everybody wants to be heard. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to be heard. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to have your voice in a relationship. But when every disagreement you have becomes a competition, nobody ever wins in those lives. Nobody will win when every time there's a competition. The healthy relationship, the healthiest relationships that I've seen do not look like a power struggle at all. They look like partnerships. what I talked about earlier, partnerships. Sometimes he's going to lead. Sometimes she's going to lead. Sometimes the two people actually sit down and they figure it out together. The goal is never dominance. The goal is actually alignment, guys. That's the goal. That's the entire goal. We might be great apart, but my boy Dino always say, but we better together. The goal is alignment. It's not dominance. Sometimes the woman is going to be the best decision maker at that moment in the relationship on that issue. Sometimes the man is going to have a better purview. He's going to make the better decision. The key is that you both got to be willing to follow each other, to work with each other, to live under the same roof, to collaborate, to align. So when you think about today and you hear we talk about relationships, have modern relationships become too focused on power? Right. When people are talking about these modern relationships, have we become so focused on power that we can't collaborate? I see most definitely. Yes. Power and control. Yes. I see. Yes. I appreciate that, Jennifer. Thank you so much. On Facebook. Yes. On TikTok. That's right. Many have. That's right. So that's where we at right now. So people can't even have regular relationships because everybody's so focused on power. Everybody thinks that in order to be a leader means you control everything in the relationship. Everybody believes that in order to be submissive, you have to give up your own damn mindset. You have to become a semblance of who you truly are in order to be in a relationship and be submissive. And we both got both damn definitions wrong. And we're allowing people that don't know what the hell they talking about. I got us out here confused about what it means to work together in a relationship. So why do so many people equate leadership with control? Why is that? Where have we gone to where we allow someone to say, this man is a leader in my relationship, and people automatically assume that they're being controlled? Why is that? Why do we equate leadership with control? What's happened? So when you think about it, I've given you examples of what partnership looks like in a healthy relationship. Again, as I said earlier, sometimes the woman makes the best decision in the relationship in that situation. Sometimes the man makes the best decision in the relationship. That's right. Somebody say this is what society has posted on social media, and you're right, Jacqueline. And what happens is that we are literally mimicking what we see on social media and trying to make that stuff work in our relationships. And I'm going to tell you this, and I say this all the time. We sit up here and we talk about these relationships that look absolutely beautiful online, but not one damn time have somebody showed you what the hell is happening behind the camera. How many times have we seen a relationship out there on social media and we believe they are couple goals, but you find out later on that it's been an abusive relationship, that there's infidelity happening behind the scenes, that they ain't even living in the same damn house under the same damn roof. They pretending for the cameras. And yet we literally would take that as a model for our relationship. And then you wonder why the hell you can't get one, why you can't stay in one, because you're trying to make your relationship look like what you think is the ideal relationship. And that's BS what they're feeding us. That's why I'm trying to get us out of that mindset. How do couples handle disagreements? It's a good one. How do couples handle disagreements when both of y'all are strong-minded? How do you deal with that? How do you work through it? What happens when you have two strong-minded individuals? How do you handle disagreements? Jacqueline said you got to talk. Jay said you got to communicate. Esther says stay single. It's not easy, But communication, you're right. Tina said you have to humble yourself. Mindset does matter. Absolutely. Compromise. Absolutely. Having hard conversations accounting from the pastor. That's right. Sean said when she left her husband, friends, doctors worked with, they were shocked and appalled. That's right. Because again, people were performing. You performing for folks. Communication, compromise. Tamika said you got to stop trying to win, not being stubborn. Listen to each other, Dina Marie said. That's a word. That's right. That's a word all by yourself. Be accountable. Be accountable. So when we think about gender roles, because we keep talking about it, we try to make things automatic because of gender roles, right? Pick your battles and come to an agreement. You're right. When you think about gender roles, right? What parts of traditional relationships do you believe should remain the same? Let me do this on TikTok. Verify. There we go. Think about this. What parts of traditional relationships, when you think about relationships today, should remain the same? Give me some examples. Give me some examples. I see learning each other's triggers. I see chivalry. Okay. A man should be king of the castle, Sunshine said, right? A man providing. Okay. The man should lead. That depends on the couples and what they decide. I see you on that, Les. Oh, God, Lord. That's Mika said that's a hard one on Facebook. Sacrifice consideration of open-minded accountability and respect. I got you. Tawana said the man being the head. I see working together. Lead, provide, and protect. Pure love, Millie said. Men lead and the lady is a helpmate, Esther said on Facebook. Okay. Respect, communication, loyalty, and trust, Shannon said on Facebook. Communication, loyalty, and respect. I see you, Tamika. A man should be the head of the house. And then here's my other question then. If you believe those parts should remain traditional, tell me what parts of traditional relationship should evolve. When you think about today, tell me what parts of traditional relationships should now evolve. Mimi said people need to still pray together. But tell me, when you think about traditional relationships, what parts of relationships now should evolve? Tamika said gender roles. How so, Tamika? Give me that. Respecting each other. Communication, loyalty, respect. Respect. We're saying it needs to evolve, but how, guys? Tell me. If a man needs help, he should not feel ashamed to ask for it, Michelle said. I love that. Accountability and empathy, Michelle said. Okay. When marriage is built on God's biblical truth, women don't mind submitting to a man of wisdom. All right. Penny on Facebook said friendship. Communication, Kimberly said. Tamika said financial should be 50-50. Okay. Each one teach one. P-Dog said don't expect a woman to do everything for the kids. Communication. Both sides should be able to provide. Nick said, my wife doesn't know how many inches is in her foot, but thinks she the leader. Okay, Nick, I won't cause no problems, man. Kimberly said, discuss triggers, right? We should always be able to come to each other spiritually. You said we need to change, right? Kay Sassy said, I agree with the financial evolution. Okay, so a lot of ladies are saying they agree with the fact that finances need to be shared, right? Working together. Okay. We see that mental support. It should be a partnership, Leah said, all the way around. Communication, Dollar said friendship. I love it. Okay. So listen, I want y'all to imagine this scenario, and I really want you to give me your thoughts on it. I see less social media. I agree with you on that. The more I agree with you, bro. Listen, let me imagine this scenario. There's a husband. He wants to move to another city because he has a better opportunity to support his family. His wife does not want to leave because that's where her family is. In that particular scenario, who's supposed to lead that decision? How is it supposed to be handled? What does healthy leadership look like in that moment? Y'all heard my question, right? A husband wants to move to another city for a better opportunity. The wife doesn't want to leave because her family is there. Who should lead in that decision? How should it be handled? Somebody said he is the head. Somebody said, let's go. It's about us and our family. The man, because he's provided. The man, because he's trying to do better. I see the man. The husband has the final say on that, Tam, as Dr. Tam said. The man is the head of the household. Patty Cake said the wife should follow the husband. Man leading by example. Brenda said, we packing up. We out of here. Going with your husband, right? If the move is to better the family, yes, we gone. So now, y'all do know, literally, I have had this scenario in coaching a couple of times. And a couple of ladies said they weren't going nowhere because they didn't want to leave their family. So in that instance, how is a man supposed to handle that? He has an opportunity to do better for he and his family. He has a job that's secure, Tanika. He actually has a job that's secure. He wants to do better. But that means that they just going to have to depend on each other. And two of these ladies would not move. And one of the men decided he just ended up leaving them. He had to go. Yep, you're supposed to cleave to your spouse. That's right. So in that instance, healthy submission, if I read it right from you guys, healthy submission would be her saying, okay, babe, you got a job secured. It's to better our family. We packing this thing up, right? That would be healthy submission, right? Am I reading it? I'm reading it right? We packing this thing up and we going to get the hell on. But let me ask you this. Is there any other option in that scenario that y'all can think of? That's right. That's right. Andrea on Facebook said she married him and not the family. You're right. But is there any other option that you can think of that may work? Long distance relationship, Kay Sassy said. But this is husband and wife. So, okay. Tamika said, yeah, he can go by himself for a few weeks. Okay. So you would send your husband out for a few weeks to work? Somebody said, no, not married, folks. There you go. Bronco B said, yeah, we can visit the family on some time off. Yep, I agree with you, Shell. I just wanted to ask because I'm interested to see. Oh, you're saying, okay, you saying you trust him, right? But what if the man says, baby, I don't want to go without you. I need my wife with me. I want my rib there with me. It doesn't make sense for me to take a better job if my rib not there with me. Right? Okay, Tamika says she gonna go. Okay, I'm just asking the question because I literally had to have that discussion with two different couples. It's amazing to see how people think. So listen, here we go. I got a couple of questions I want to ask, and we're gonna start shutting this thing on down. If I got a chance to ask the people closest to you to describe you as easy to follow, easy to trust, and easy to partner with, what would they say? If I asked the people that were closest to you to describe you, if you're easy to follow, easy to trust, or easy to partner with, what would they say? She'll say I'm a mixed bag. Somebody say I'm easy to trust, easy to partner with, right? Said apart on Facebook saying we can visit family. That's right. Easy to trust. Patty K says she all three. Smiley DMC says she ain't easy at all. You know what I meant though. Easy to partner with. All there, all three. Okay, Pixie Lee on Facebook said easy to partner with. Yvonne said easy to trick. You mean you out here tricking? Or you mean easy to be fooled? Which one you saying? I mean, that you grown woman. I'm not judging. I'm just asking the question for clarity. All three, easy to trust. Okay, I got you. So, because here's the thing, you guys, I need y'all to understand, right? Before we ask somebody, can they submit or can they lead? The real question should actually be, have I actually become the kind of person that will make either one of those possible, right? Before we ask anybody, can they submit or can they lead? I need to be asking them, Asking myself, am I the kind of person that's going to make either one of those possible? And then I got a bonus question for you. If leadership must be earned, what exactly should a person do to earn it? Talk to me. That's the last question of the night. I'm lying. I'm just asking that question. Thank you. If leadership must be earned, what exactly should a man do to earn it? Being consistent. Trust. Be consistent. I'm trusting as long as he can show me a budget ledger. I ain't going with him. Okay, Maxine on Facebook. Trust. Listening. Transparency, Miss Cat said. No man is an island. Need to communicate. You're right. Follow through and keep your word. I love it. Provide. Show up. I can make both possible. Okay. Be honest and consistent. I love it. I love it. Be an open book. Be consistent. Be honest. Consistency and follow through. Transparency. Lead with integrity, consistency, and honesty on TikTok. Service in room. Just kidding. The direction must be prosperous. I got you. Be honest. I love it. Take the initiative, Kay Sassy said. Be considerate. I love it. I love it. No secrets. Reverend Cleghorn said, no secrets. Lead with intention. Listen, I want to leave you with a few things tonight. Make an effort. Lead with love. I love it. Right? I'm watching how he's handling his affairs as a single person before we get together, as well as you should. Do your homework. Do your due diligence. What's the one thing that you took away and you learned tonight? Did your definition of submission change? Do you look at it differently? Did your definition of leadership change, or do you now look at it a little differently? What qualities did you learn that make someone safe to follow, and what qualities did you learn to make someone worth leading? Right? You can only submit to love. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. I hope I was able to help you guys today, right? I'm glad that we were able to jump into this word of submission and leadership, right? Because everybody has such a jaded definition of both of these words, and people try to make them really, really negative, right? And they're not necessarily negative. It's all about your perception, and a lot of it has to do, right, with your experiences. But what you don't need to do is allow people on social media to jade how you feel about certain things. Do your own homework. Do your own homework, right? Love on us. If it challenged you tonight, then good. Growth actually always lives in discomfort. So before you ask for submission, become someone worth following. Before you ask for leadership, I need you to become someone who can actually recognize it. Stop focusing on what the other side owes you and start focusing on what you bring into the table. And that's how grown folks build relationships. All right. Listen, thank y'all again for support. Thank y'all again for continuing to support me. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. And again, I hope you got out of this thing what you needed. Okay. Listen, again, y'all know how to reach at me, get at me, message me, do whatever it is you need to do to get at me. For those of you on TikTok, remember, I only have one page. I'm not doing any new pages. I don't create a new page. I got one page and it literally says at the Louis V. If it's not at the Louis V, that is not me. Same thing on Facebook. It's just one Louis Vick. That is it. There are no others. On Facebook, I have over 82,000 followers now. So if it's not that, y'all know it's not me. TikTok, same thing. It's not me. Don't forget, for those of you in the Memphis area, we have a Louis V meet and greet August the 7th through the 9th. We're going to do a lot. We're going to do a Louis V live. We're doing a party bus. We got a meet and greet. We heading on Bill. We're going to do an awful lot that weekend. So for those of you that are in the grown folks group, make sure you register. The registration is open. It is live right now. I will also be posting that on my professional page for individuals that are not in the group, in the grown folks group. So that way, if you want to come to the meet and greet, come on down and kick it with us that weekend, August the 7th through the 9th at the Westin Hotel. Also, after that one, we're going to start doing a little more traveling. So it'll be based on what we have the most followers, right? And so it's looking pretty good in a couple of areas. Chicago is one of the areas, Miss Betty, for real. It is one of the areas. One of the high areas, too. I got a lot of followers in Chicago and Houston, I think Dallas, Orlando. It's crazy. New York is another one that's like loaded. So again, we're going to work. George Jeanette, there is not a hotel discount code because we would have to guarantee a certain number, and they didn't want to give us one without guaranteeing a certain number. Since this is our first one, that's not something that I definitely wanted to do. Yep. Dallas, or it'll probably be Houston, right? Michelle, eventually we're gonna make it to Atlanta. I think Atlanta is like number 6 or 7 in the number of followers that follow. So we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we definitely gonna get to the A. Charlotte, I think, is one of them as well, T Home. So it's one of them. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna be doing pretty good. All right. I appreciate y'all again for continuing to follow, continue to support. Yeah, the registration link. We have the registration link, Tamika. It's actually, I dropped the link in the Grown Folks Conversation group to it, but I'm going to put it on my professional page for everybody to be able to see that's not actually in the group. But that's a full registration. Y'all to come on down and have a good time with us, man. We're going to have a good time. I probably need to drop it on TikTok too. So I'm going to see a way I can drop it on TikTok to put a link on one of the posts or something for people to be able to do it. All right. Again, thank y'all again. Thank y'all again. Again, remember, every Monday night at 7 p. CST, Central Standard Time, we go live. All right. We go live. So no matter where I am, I try to do my best to make sure we go live. I got your P-Cakes. I'm going to put it on TikTok as well. I'll make sure it's there. Listen, thank y'all again. Thank you for the continued support. I'll keep dropping the videos as I always do. Thank y'all for continuing to share the videos out and getting everything out to people as well. Appreciate that, Shell. Thank you so much. Yep. Blessings to you all as well. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. This is one of my favorite shirts. Yep. All right, Zena, you got to be on the next one. Monday at 7. Monday at 7 Central Standard Time. Good night, Pina on Facebook. Good night. Tevin, good night. Good night. I appreciate you. Absolutely. Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you for that, Jacqueline. You know, I keep my B game tight. That'll work. Good night, Glory. Appreciate y'all again. Thank y'all again for continuing to support. As always, much love. Louis V out.